fix and start kicking ass, just like it said at the beginning of the program.
Man of the hour, tower of terror, too sweet to be sour.
Sending your ass on the jabroni jet to the other side of the territory, brother.
The Alabama Hammer.
Nightmares are the best part of my day.
The goods from the wood.
Hot damn!
Welcome to the Goods from the Woods. My name is Rivers Langley, and I continue to be on the road. That's right. And this week, oh my God, I've been all over. But currently, I'm sitting on the balcony overlooking a part of New Orleans I don't think I've ever been to prior to now, but I'm sitting here with my good friend,
Monika Scott.
Yeah. What neighborhood is this again? I've already forgotten.
So this is Broadmoor.
Broadmoor.
Is the name of the
Okay.
neighborhood. This is like the very, very edge of Broadmoor.
Okay.
So I just say uptown.
Uptown. Oh, yeah. It's a perfectly ideal evening here. This is why you live here. This is for a nice breeze like this coming through.
I actually had a thought earlier today where I was like, oh, this weather today is what California is like all the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a little bit.
It's nice to live somewhere where now this is a luxury that I need to embrace.
Yeah, and it's good to talk to you not on a phone line.
Yeah, I love that.
For the first time in a long time on a podcast. Of course, you can check out many episodes of What Did You Learn? This is our first face-to-face podcast convo in a long time. So
yeah,
in
maybe
fun.
like 2 years.
Yeah, it's been too long.
Yeah. Well, here it is.
Here it is. We did it. I just needed to tell everybody what happened to me. So I went to Lafayette, or how do they say it down here? For the love of God, everybody's corrected
Well, so
me.
as far as I mean, I'm not from here, right? So like I'm no Yat, but I think it's Lafayette.
Yeah. Okay.
Lafayette, I
Or
think is
Lafayette.
what I
That's
hear
right.
sometimes. But if I don't have that accent, aren't I just like doing a weird I don't know.
Yeah.
It seems like I should just say it how I say it.
Well, it's like
Otherwise,
those-
I'm like,
Yeah. Well, it's like those annoying people that go to Nicaragua once when they're 18. They're like,
insist.
I went to Nicaragua.
yeah,
You're like, dude.
Exactly.
just say it yeah. But Lafayette, I think, is how everybody's been, and I've been, because my father taught school in Lafayette, Alabama, which is spelled exactly the same, but that's how they pronounce it there, either Lafayette or, if you're real country, Lafette.
I wonder who's right.
Oh,
Well, you know how they pronounce some stuff just like objectively wrong here?
Yeah. Oh, of course. Yeah.
Burgundy and Burgundy is the big one for me.
Yeah. Burgundy.
There's a street that's Calliope. Objectively, that is the word.
And they call it Calliope.
Calliope.
Oh boy.
But like they have steamboats that play. It's very funny that Calliope music is such a thing here, and I'm like,
and you're still calling it Calliope.
but we say it wrong when we're talking about a street. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's confusing.
Yeah, but I think they've corrected me a few times as Lafayette. I think is how they say it, but I think the actual way is Lafayette, because the guy who it's named after is Marquis de Lafayette, and that's how he pronounces his name. So,
yeah.
Anyway, point is, I'm in Lafayette or Lafayette or. I forgot how we even settled on how I was going to say it. So I'm going to say Lafayette. Never been to this town before. Beautiful little downtown area. I'm doing a show at the Worst Beer Garden. Shout out to Mr. Leonard and all the people who booked the show over there. It was super fun. What did happen, though, this is the first time I've ever stepped foot in this town. I open the door, step outside. The first guy I see is kind of he looks a bit like Barney from The Simpsons, if Barney was a real person, which is perfectly apt for his personality.
Yeah.
Because he has a beer in his hand, and my first thought was like, oh, I didn't know you could drink on the streets here too. And then he just pours the beer into his nose and begins gagging on the street, just walking around in a circle, just like you would if you poured beer in your nose.
Sure.
And he was
like you do when you're drowning.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And he almost drowned himself on the streets in front of me in a dry street. He was obviously shit-faced. He was aiming for his mouth, but he hit his nose and just started gagging. And all I could think was like, well, at least, I mean, he's completely shit-faced. So at least he's not, because we were on the street, we weren't in the show. We weren't in the venue yet. I was like, well, at least he won't be interrupting the show because he's been overserved.
Yeah.
There's no way. And then cut to 5 minutes later, he's in the bar, just walking around, shadow boxing, which was a nice touch. just throwing wild punches in a crowded bar and just mumbling to himself. I was like, oh shit.
Oh, neat.
And so I texted Monica about all this as it was happening, and you said, "Oh, he's the mayor," and then I told the same thing to JP Leonard over there, and he said, "Oh yeah, he's the mayor." So I got the same joke, but wow, that was just
That's
a
that
poor.
Louisiana joke.
It really, I mean, just a portent of alcoholism if there ever was one. Just it was outstanding.
It's a chief export of Louisiana.
You've played Lafayette before, right?
I have. I've played it a few times, and they're okay with me.
Yeah.
I just have such a I don't know, like sort of obnoxious big city millennial malaise about my stand-up sometimes.
Oh, okay.
That, like, it's certainly not their fault that I can't figure out how to like tweak my personality to make them like it, but they're never super into what I'm giving them.
Oh, okay.
Which is fine. That's
Yeah.
okay. It's still fun. It's like fun to go out there. I think that drive out there is really pretty.
Yeah, and it's a weird little funky town. Like,
Very bizarre town. I don't really know that much about it. I look forward to being able to go more.
yeah, like when I was there, everybody was just running down the festivals they were having there. They're like, oh well, next week's our beer festival. Week after that is our Zydeco festival, and the week after that,
yeah. I mean, it's like
it's like
it's so funny because also I get the sense, I kind of feel that here a little bit right now. It's
oh sure,
it's different here, but I think it's just only nice for a month.
right.
So
'Cause-
everyone fucking freaks out and panics and plans all the festivals they can in 1 month.
yeah. As we record this, Jazz Fest is here next weekend.
Yeah, Jazz Fest is here next week, and it was French Quarter Fest the weekend before that.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know.
It's funny because
been
it kind of makes sense
constant.
in New Orleans because New Orleans is such a party town, I guess, that like they
Yeah.
should have a lot of festivals and they have a large population.
Yeah.
Lafayette, there's not that many people there, but they're still trying to cram all of the New Orleans excitement into a very small town.
Yeah, but it is kind of cool.
No, I love it.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't think that Lafayette is necessarily where this happens, but I like, I'm only in my first year of living here, but I want to do like I want to see Cajun Mardi Gras some year.
Yeah, sure.
Which is weird and different. I mean, Mardi Gras here is already weird.
Yeah.
But this is mostly just like nude people with glitter on their face doing drugs in the street.
Oh yeah, sure.
Which is fun.
So again, that's what LA is every day.
Yeah, and then in Cajun Mardi Gras, it's like I read a lot of articles to try to understand it, and I don't. And
okay.
I don't totally understand it. I do know that the men chase a chicken around.
What?
There's like a whole thing where like the men have to, because it's like actual. It feels very like the actual history of Mardi Gras a little bit, which
okay.
I don't have like a firm grasp on, but like
Yeah, sure.
that like the Canadian French settlers here like were just trying to like do the revelry thing, and
Right.
so it's like there's part of it where they not, if someone's actually Cajun and listening to this, they're punching through a wall.
Tweet
and
at us at The Goods
Yeah, I'm
Pod.
so sorry because I
Yeah.
only kind of I know that it is interesting. I think there's like a whole Anthony Bourdain episode where he does Cajun Mardi Gras,
okay.
and it's like it's pretty cool because he's the only person who could do it and like give it the respect it deserves.
Right,
You know what I mean?
right,
Everyone
sure.
else would do a travel log where they're like, oh, weird, look at these hillbillies or whatever rude thing.
Right.
But it's like, it's kind of funny. There's like a thing where these men knock on all the doors and beg for something, and you have to like give them something, and they're trying to build the meal, the big meal,
okay.
and then chasing the chicken around is like part of it.
Okay.
The women aren't allowed to participate in the chicken thing, which is just like leftover.
Okay.
I can't get my feeling. I don't want to chase a chicken around, so I guess it's fine. I'd rather watch you guys do it. And
Who's going to be the Susan B. Anthony of this festival?
of Cajun Mardi Gras.
Yeah. Who's going to come down here and just be like,
It's also crawfish boil season here.
Yes, it is. I had some amazing crawfish at Lafayette.
Did you?
They had
Yeah.
So the restaurant where they had the show, the night of the show, it was the comedy show and also
a big boil.
crawfish night.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, you were just walking through it. I was like, I think most of these people are here for crawfish. I don't think they actually give a shit about comedy, but
surprise,
to their credit,
yeah.
stayed and watched. Like, you know, we, as soon as they kind of like made the announcement, like, oh, we're going to have a comedy show coming up soon, a few people trickled out, but most of them stayed under. They have like a big tent back there.
It is kind of nice. I mean, I think that one of the things that's kind of special about there is like, because even like they may not like love my comedy, but they either like leave or quietly pay attention and do their best, and it's like, you guys are cool. Thanks for trying. They're just excited to see something, and they're like, cool, I'll check it out.
Right.
And then they're like, oh, no, thank you. I'm all good.
There was a slight vibe that I felt there because I was doing comedy on a stage, a wooden stage underneath a tent filled with people eating crawfish. I did feel a bit like I was running for office. Like it's like one of those like things you just have to do. Like you have to eat the corn dog. You have to fucking, you know, look at the monkeys riding dogs events. It's like the shit you have to put up with when you're running for president.
Yeah,
it had that sort of like folksy vibe to it, but it was actually real and not manufactured.
But it was real folksiness.
Yeah, it was actual folksiness, not bullshit.
Do they campaign in Louisiana?
No, but you know, it felt like some Iowa State Fair shit almost.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah, it's one of those places. I think it's a waste of money to campaign here.
That's what I was thinking.
Pretty much know how everybody's going to go every time. So
that's too bad.
Yeah, you know. But yeah, I went up to Memphis. Just literally as of this recording, got off the road like an hour ago, coming back from Memphis, and I went to Graceland.
Oh man, I've never actually gone inside Graceland.
So this is the first time I've been since they added the museum, and this is the thing we talked about. We had our episode Elvis in the '70s with Kyle Clark, and Goodnight made the point that he's like people don't give a shit about the house. You want to see his stuff. Yeah, like his house is cool, but by the standards of any modern celebrity mansion, it's not that big.
Like, okay,
you want to see his stuff, like his cars, his jumpsuits, and all this stuff. They've added this like 220,000 square foot museum across the street from Graceland since the last time I went. I was there in 2012, and it used to just be a parking lot where they had the planes, so you could go see like the Lisa Marie. I think he has 3 planes, and you could go see that. Yeah. And but now they have this huge museum with all of his stuff.
Oh my god!
And it was actually like the shit I wanted to see, because the last time I saw Graceland, I just did the mansion tour. And it's cool, but they don't let you upstairs or anything. And I think we actually, I can't remember if this was a podcast conversation or a real life conversation with Jesse Case, but Jesse Case, hilarious comic from Tennessee, was either dating or friends with somebody who was like a docent,
there?
like a higher up at Graceland, and he's seen the bathroom. Like he's seen the upstairs. They don't let you upstairs in Graceland, but you get to see the downstairs, which has like the jungle room, which has carpet on the ceiling, and that's weird. And it's just like we said in that episode. I'm like, the Graceland is just this is a man who is the very definition of hood rich. It's like, give somebody who had zero money growing up a bunch of money, and that you get the weirdest place where the walls are painted with like blue and yellow stripes. And
that's funny, because I've done the opposite thing where I've been to Memphis a few times, and the closest I got to Graceland was this year. Last year in December, when we, did a show in Auburn, and then me and Alex went up to Nashville and then Memphis. Yeah. In Memphis, we stayed at I think it was called Best Western Graceland.
Oh, okay.
It's literally across the street from the big museum part.
Oh, yeah, sure.
So I saw the building, and I was like, this is huge. This is so crazy. I didn't know. Yeah. And I'm sure Alex regretted letting me book the hotel, because I truly picked it because it seemed corny. Uh-huh. And I was right. Yeah. There was Elvis stuff in every room.
Hell yeah.
and it was otherwise just like any shitty 3-star roadside motel type place. Sure. And then they had a guitar pool. So that's the closest I've been to Graceland. However, I've been to the birthplace. I've been to the birthplace in Tupelo.
In Tupelo, yeah.
That's just a room. Yeah. And it's the opposite. It's just a room.
Yeah.
It's a tiny room, and you look in it and you're like, yeah. Okie dokie.
So walking around that museum was surreal. I have 3 pictures that I secretly took, but I saw it about 4 or 5 times, and that was just rockabilly men of every culture, language, forcing their girlfriends to take pictures until they liked them. So it was them just standing in front of the car and be like,
It's just nice to see men going through that struggle, because I've been the female friend of many women who made me do that a lot.
It's just like a guy, like German guy, shaking his hips and trying to do the dance, and then looking at the thing and be like, 9, and then one more time, please, and then
It's just like, where else are these guys going in Memphis?
oh, that was it. That was all they wanted to do.
Did they fly all the way from Germany to Memphis?
Yeah, I think so. There's an unexplored, and I've gathered all this just from doing tours in Los Angeles forever, there is a certain aesthetic that I am sure it maybe extends to other cultures, but I've very much noticed it in Germans and Australians specifically. Yeah. They want to fucking come here, rent a convertible of some kind, and hit the spots.
They want to live the 50s.
Yeah, kind of.
They want Route 66 America, which I love. I mean, I love that stuff.
Yeah.
But it's funny. Elvis has always been a sort of a blind spot for me. I've never known that much about him. I never gave a shit, really, about him. He seems fine.
Yeah, sure.
But so, like, I've been to some of the Elvis stuff, but I've always just been like, I have no connection to this.
Yeah.
Seems fine. My biggest connection to Elvis is just like, I feel like I was growing up in the era of like the clocks and the...
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like Elvis tchotchkes, Marilyn Monroe tchotchkes, and Betty Boop tchotchkes were like at their peak during my childhood.
Yeah, me too, actually.
Yeah, when there were like lots of moms that would... There was one of those 3 that you would buy their like little, you'd buy them a present that was one of those 3.
Yeah.
And they collected it.
Yeah, I think because my parents they weren't really big like Elvis people.
Yeah.
And so I just kind of like came into it sort of weirdly through getting into like country music.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because it's a thing that always gets referenced is like, oh, this is like Bill Monroe doing Blue Moon of Kentucky, which you might know as an Elvis song. And so it always just got referenced so much that I kind of came
you're like,
into
fine.
it. But I got into it like around college, and it's not until just recently. I mean, honestly, it was when we started doing that Elvis in the 70s episode of this show where I started listening to like what people refer to as like Vegas Elvis or like Fat Elvis. And got a really big appreciation for that because it's so goddamn weird. It's like Elvis is what happens where you just there's so much money. You're not really connected to people anymore.
Yeah.
But you're super fucking talented. So it's almost more fun to listen to that era because especially with the context of like the jumpsuits, which make no sense. Like if you really like no one else was dressing like this, it's not attached to any sort of reality at all. And it's really
just a thing he liked.
It is. Yeah, it's a man just really going in and exploring his interests because there's nothing financially to stop him from doing so. So he's like so he has like double belt buckles on everything. Just like weird stuff where you're like he had to have told the tailor to do this. No regular thinking person would be like, oh, you know what this suit needs? 2 giant eagles on the belt.
Yeah.
Like, why 2? Like but then just listening to the songs, you're like, oh my God, he was a better singer by the time when he died than he was when he started,
Oh, interesting.
Unlike a lot of artists, at least in my opinion. I mean, and it's probably just because he was such a shy guy starting out, and by the end he was such a confident kind of performer that he would just sing the shit out of a song, which is like kind of the fun thing to watch. But yeah, it's only been recently that I've always liked the 50s stuff, and then my big blind spot is the movies era.
I don't know any of that.
The 70s stuff just in the past like 2 years I've really gotten an appreciation for, and so I listen to Elvis radio a lot, mainly to see if any of Goodnight's weird friends get prank phone calls through, which happens a few times. Happens now and again. Yeah, it was very interesting, but it was packed. It was so packed.
That's
and
so
it was
funny.
Pissing down rain.
Oh yeah, you were there on a stormy day.
It was freezing and rainy, and there were so many people. Like I was kind of halfway expecting to get there and just be a little bummed out by like not that many people. It was fucking crazy packed, and I guess
I think that's the main event in Memphis.
yeah,
right?
yeah, I guess so. But man, yeah, it was kind of.
I wouldn't know. I've only gone there for the Bass Pro Shop and the ducks at the Peabody Hotel.
Oh my god! Oh my god! So I did that this morning. I almost forgot.
Oh, you almost forgot about the ducks?
I was about to leave town, and I was like, "Oh wait, I got to see the pyramid."
The theatrics. Oh yeah, the pyramid is a magnificent place.
Yeah. Tell them what it is if they don't know.
So there's a Bass Pro Shop in Memphis.
Yes.
That I think is an old convention center.
It's an old basketball arena.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, it was. They used to call it the Tomb of Doom,
and
because it's a pyramid.
And so it is a literal pyramid on the Mississippi River, like
the size of like the Great Pyramid of Giza. Like
it's
massive,
enormous, and it's like a huge landmark in the skyline of Memphis.
Yeah.
It's this dumb pyramid underneath the bridge, like that takes you over to Arkansas.
It's underneath about it's underneath a spaghetti junction. There's about 6 interchanges that are in front of this thing. They built it in the 90s, and it was originally meant to be a basketball arena and like a convention center and like multi-purpose kind of use space.
Yeah.
Most notably for me, it is where it was the site of WWF St. Valentine's Day Massacre 1999.
Wow, I had no idea.
Vince McMahon and Stone Cold Steve Austin had their, I think, first and only straight up one-on-one match in a cage. And
oh wow!
And this wrestler who's gone on to have one of the longest careers in WWE history, The Big Show, who's a 7-foot tall man named Paul White, who they didn't even have a name for him yet. They were like, "Oh my God, it's Paul White!" And eventually they started calling him The Big Show. Comes up through the ring. And then, he's obviously here to help Vince McMahon.
Yeah.
And it's the funniest thing because he picks up Stone Cold by the neck and throws him into the side of the steel cage. And in a cage match, all you have to do is escape the cage. They don't say how. You just have to get out.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
He hits the side of the cage, and the cage swings open, and he falls down on the floor and wins the match. So he was like trying to like ruin his life and ended up making him win the match. That was in the Memphis Pyramid. So as I was walking to the Bass Pro Shop, I'm texting all
You're
my...
like thinking about it.
And it's like kind of a famous match, too. It's Big Show's debut. So I'm texting all my friends who are like wrestling heads and being like, the site of St. Valentine's Day Massacre 99 is now a Bass Pro Shop. You guys, we truly live in a fallen world.
I love that Bass Pro Shop so much. It's an enormous cavernous space inside.
It's a fucking basketball arena. Like, if you guys are listening, imagine a basketball arena that has been somehow magically and perfectly repurposed as a Bass Pro Shop.
A full Bass Pro Shop, and it has a swamp in it.
Yes.
With gators.
Live catfish, gators,
ducks. Yeah. Big catfish, too.
Yeah,
very big.
Yeah.
So there's I think there are
Believe it or
3...
not, there's no food chain. There's no real ecosystem inside the pyramid.
Yeah, there's four different, aquarium things.
Yeah.
There's a hotel, a full hotel, which I don't know if that's normal for a Bass Pro Shop.
No,
because I would also like to say that's the first Bass Pro Shop I ever went to.
So you can't
to me,
go to any
I don't
others.
understand.
Yeah,
I'm like, are they all like this? They sell full speedboats inside, and they have a hotel and a bowling alley and a restaurant.
Yes, and an arcade and a shooting range.
Yeah. When I went on, I was at the. I went to that Bass Pro Shop on Christmas Eve.
Oh
this
my
year.
God, that must have been insane.
And I was like, I've never held a gun. And Alex goes, let's go hold a gun. So that's how I spent my Christmas Eve.
Y'all shot at the pistol range?
I didn't shoot. They couldn't. They didn't have space at the range.
I was hoping they would have guys dressed up like elves, working the pistol range on Christmas Eve.
But we went and looked at guns, and I held a bunch of different guns and talked to the guy about them.
Gotcha.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, right.
My first Christmas in the South.
If you've never been in a Bass Pro Shop before, most of them are huge.
Yeah. I've been in a few others now, and
But they're not a fucking basketball
they're
arena.
big, but they're not. Yeah, this really is like a weird,
This is-
insane.
if you're in LA and you're
place.
listening, it's like if they turn the Staples Center into a store.
Yeah.
One store.
It has like a little log cabin inside that is like their little like food store that sells like
Oh,
coffee
yeah.
and fudge and all that stuff.
Yeah, well, they've got a whole like row where normally like the seats would have extended up to.
Oh,
that they've
that's what it is.
Kind of like turned it into like a weird swamp village kind of thing that's 360 degrees around. It's insane.
It's insane. I love it.
Like,
I go there every time I go to Memphis, and
Oh, I
I
don't
know
blame
it's
you.
just a store, but I'm like, can we go to the Bass Pro Shop?
Yeah, you gotta see it. Get some fudge and walk around. It's like
I went to Memphis once with the girl I was living with in Nashville, who was like a very sweet but very serious venture capital person.
oh sure,
Who has no outdoors experience at all.
yeah.
And she was there like taking meetings. And I was like, let's go to the Bass Pro Shop while we're here.
I thought you meant at the Bass Pro. I was
No,
like,
no,
oh,
no.
damn.
Just like in town. Because Memphis
Gotcha.
has actually like a really big startup culture because it's so cheap to live there.
Right, right.
So like startups will plop themselves down there and, work on ruining that city.
Yeah, sure.
But we were like done, she was done with all her meetings for the day. And I was like, let's go to the Bass Pro Shop. And she was like, is that like a fishing store? And I was like,
It's like
sort of.
get in the car, kid. Let me teach you a thing. or
We
two.
went, and I mean, I also like am so much more gung ho about that. Like she lives in Nashville,
Yeah,
but she's very buttoned up.
Yeah.
And like prissy's the wrong word, but like she's very like upset by guns. She's very upset by like
Sure.
Like she's very snowflakey.
okay, all right.
And so she was just like sort of like confused and horrified the whole time.
And you're just like, there's fudge too.
And I was like, this place rules.
There's a million stores inside this old basketball arena that's now themed like a swamp.
Did you
It makes
go
no
in the
sense.
bowling alley?
I didn't go to the bowling alley.
Okay.
No, I just kind of walked around like the middle of
I
it.
have to say that bowling alley is one of the coolest things I've ever seen.
Really?
So
Shit, I'm
the
gonna
way,
feel that.
because the thing, I've never bowled there, but I've gone in and looked at it.
Yeah.
And it's set up to be like what's like the blacklight bowling has a name, right?
Oh, a cosmic
yeah,
bowling.
it's set up to kind of have that cosmic bowling vibe.
Yeah.
So it's all black light and it's like neon stuff. But the thing that the bowling ball comes up through is like shaped like different swamp creatures. And then one is just a giant bullhead shark.
Oh, so the ball returns like an alligator.
The
and
ball
like
returns like a big gator,
Okay.
a big catfish,
Yeah,
a
yeah.
big shark, and it's just like there's only like 6 lanes.
Oh
but
my
it's
God, I love
so
it.
funny,
Oh man.
and they're really like Disneyland quality like productions.
Oh man. Yeah, they're not fucking around. They've got so much money, and it's funny because like the pyramid thing continues to make no sense.
Yeah, and you can pay to go up to the top of the pyramid.
Yeah, they added an elevator and I guess an observation deck so you can go
Mm-hmm.
up to the very top, and it's like, and they even have a sign. It's like elevator rides. I'm like, I think you're over.
phrasing this wrong.
I think you're overselling it. Yeah.
You're selling the wrong element of this.
yeah, elevator rides. I didn't go to the top.
I've never gone to the top.
There was a bunch of people standing up there looking
I don't
out.
care about it.
Yeah, I was like, it's
What, I'm going to see Arkansas better? I don't know. What
yeah.
it's-
You get to see the freeway real good.
yeah, it's like the scenery around the Bass Pro Shop. Other than, I mean, the river is fine, but you can see that. I
Yeah.
don't need to be that high.
It's on Memphis is on the river. You can see
Yeah.
the river. Yeah. I went bowling 2 weeks ago. Joe Raines was booked on a show
Mm-hmm.
out at Corbin Bowl in Tarzana, California.
Okay.
And pitched it very much like, hey, you guys come to the show and then we'll go bowling afterwards.
Okay.
So I brought
Fine, Joe. Fine.
my friend, our buddy who's been on the podcast a couple weeks ago, Carter Glasscock, who just moved to town from Nashville. We all went out there and
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
watched the show, and then after the show, we decided to go bowling. And Carter
Yeah.
and Joe got drunk, like very drunk, and I was even sober. Just the next day, I woke up and truly could not move my right arm. Like I forgot that like
It's athletic.
It's on
surprisingly
exactly
athletic,
one of
yeah.
your arms. It sucks if you haven't done it in a
it's
while.
like two specific muscles that you
Yeah.
otherwise just don't ever activate.
Right. And so if I was in some sort of Shakespearean play or something, everybody's got their tragic flaw. My tragic flaw is that I'm supremely untalented at any athletics, but very competitive. So I just get fucking furious.
What a sad dichotomy.
It's terrible. And so we start bowling and Joe, I think I won the first round, and then Joe won the second round, and then I just got furious and just was like, God damn it, I'm gonna let this drunk motherfucker beat me. And yeah, just went way too hard. And the next day I woke up and I was like, I couldn't
I've
write.
broken my arm.
I was trying to play guitar. It hurt. My arm was ruined. Yeah, so no, I didn't go in the bowling alley at the Bass Pro, but I should have just gone in just to
you were
look.
still mad at bowling.
I was still mad at bowling, but I did end up winning 3 of the 4 games. But it's not because I'm good; it's because they were drunk.
Yeah.
So it was just
That's
because
fine.
I only had I think I only had 1 beer the whole night, and they were underneath it. So.
I don't think I've ever. I'm not competitive at all. If anytime I don't like playing board games. I finally can admit that to myself.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because I've gone to many board game nights and I like being included. in
Sure.
things.
Yeah. That's sort of my speed too.
And I like playing card games, something that moves kind of fast. I can enjoy the playfulness with my friends. But a board game, I'll never play Settlers of Catan again.
Right.
I'm done. I'm retired. I'm 34, and I can now admit
it's settled.
it's boring.
Catan
it's boring
is
to play this. I don't care. There are no stakes here, and I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care about this.
Yeah.
I have no motivation to win, and I feel nothing if I win.
Yeah.
So I'd rather you win.
Oh man. It's
When I'm playing a game with someone who it's clearly meaningful to them if they win or lose, I'm like, I'll just fuck this up. I don't care. I do not care if I win this. I would rather this be over.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm really bad at something, then I'll back out. But if I just get in it and I get in a certain zone, I'm like, Eye of the Tiger, baby. I'll get tunnel vision. And then I don't know. This was last week. I was in Auburn visiting my parents and playing trivia with a couple of friends up at the bar.
That sounds fun.
And bar trivia is the one where I can. I'm not athletically gifted, but I know useless
a lot
bullshit.
of stuff.
Useless shit is my forte, and so I get really,
I majored in useless shit.
I get really competitive about that. And there was another guy who I know from the town, who's lived in Auburn a long time. He's sitting at the other table on another team, and then he starts talking shit. And
all right, well, that's
rude. And then I'm just like, it's on, motherfucker, and we get
and
we
you
get
guys become
into it.
too much.
And it was very sad. After I went home and really thought about my behavior after we won, which was just flipping off everybody in the restaurant,
breaking bottles against the table.
Yeah, we won. I earned it. And then they had sent over from their table a British man who prices righted me on the date of Notre Dame Cathedral's construction. So I wrote down.
May it rest in peace.
Yeah. I wrote down 1223 or whatever, and he wrote down 1221, and it was 12 whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He fucking prices righted me. I was like,
so
you fucker, get your own
irritating.
information. And so I was furious about that. And so they won that round, but then the tiebreaker for the whole game came up, and we sent up Miles, and they sent up a different guy, our friend Miles, and they sent up a different guy, and this guy was British, and the question was, name the river that flows through Washington, D.C., and Miles fucking Steph Curry, 3-point shot, boom, Potomac, turned it in.
Yeah.
British guy, couldn't come up with it. And we won the game, and I walked over to his table. I'm like, never send a fucking Brit to do an American's job, you motherfucker. Then just stuck my middle fingers in the air. I was like, yeah. And then I came home later and really thought about my actions. I was like, boy, I just seemed like a huge dick. But
I didn't need to do that.
But I was in the moment. I was that bowling shit. I was like, Reigns was pulling ahead of me. I was like, mm-mm.
You were drunk on rage.
Not on my watch. Rage and useless knowledge.
Did you, when you were in Memphis, did you go see the Big Mouth Billy Bass?
No, I thought about
collection?
it. I thought about it. I did not make it over there. But next time, the Flying Fish, I believe, is the name of the place.
Yeah, I've been there. I took Alex there on Christmas Eve. We had a real Christmas Eve in Memphis. I took him to all the dumbest places I could think of.
Oh, that's awesome.
We walked to Beale Street, and I was like, here it is. And he was like, all right, well, I'm done.
It's Bourbon Street, except it's up a hill.
Yeah, it's mean Bourbon Street.
That was kind of the vibe I got off of it,
Yeah.
actually.
The only thing I care about on Beale Street, I mean, whatever, the history is fine. It's good and important. But currently, the current iteration of Beale Street, the only thing I care about is there's an Irish pub with 2 goats. So I walked over and looked at the goats.
Oh,
and then we left.
There.
And then I was like, all right, let's go.
Oh, man.
This place sucks.
I just saw they had Jerry the King Lawler's Hall of Fame Grill.
Oh, yeah.
I tried to go there, and I think they opened at 11, and I was there at like 10:30. So I was like,
you were like, ugh.
I can't quite.
You know, I did go to the Gus's Fried Chicken there, which is like the original one.
Yeah, is it better?
It was better.
Okay.
Because Gus's is fine.
Yeah,
I really don't have a strong emotion about it.
Yeah.
But it was like spicier.
Okay.
And I liked that about
I thought about that. I was looking up
Yeah.
like places to go. I got into town and like got to where I was staying. It was like just got like the cheapest hotel nearby.
Yeah.
And I got there.
Was it the Elvis Best Western?
No, it
Because
was
that was
Motel
part of why
6.
I booked it. It was like the cheapest option.
Yeah. No, it was.
I was like, guitar pool, portraits of Elvis, cheapest option.
Yeah. No, this was the Motel 6. This was bottom barrel. Not too
Yeah.
far from the Lorraine Motel, actually.
Oh,
So,
yikes.
yeah, that part of town. Nothing bad's ever happened in a hotel in Memphis. But I wanted to get some food, but I also
Yeah.
wanted to chill out before the show because the show didn't start till 9, and I got there at like 7. I was like, I'm just gonna call the first barbecue place that Grubhub's. And so,
it's Rendezvous. And it was
it's
Rendezvous. probably,
That's why I
yeah.
ended up with that one, and it was okay. But boy, it was.
Yeah, that's the one where they that's the big one where they sell the rub everywhere.
Yeah. So I just kind of went with that one.
Just get it done out of the way, you know?
Yeah, get the ribs.
Get the ribs out of the way.
Ribs, do the thing. The last thing about the Bass Pro Shop, though, is I did notice on the way in to the store, they have a big glass display.
Yes, I
that
saw.
features one of my heroes, which is Bill Dance, who is. Do you know Bill Dance?
I've seen the display, but I've never known who that man is.
Okay, so I'll put a picture of this up on our Twitter. We're at the Good Spot. If you've listened to the show, you've definitely heard me and Pat reference Bill Dance because he's like our, and I think he is universal. I think anybody can get into Bill Dance.
Yeah.
Because he is he's an idiot and he's hilarious. Like he's on paper probably a champion fisherman.
Yeah.
Has plenty of accolades, has nailed, huge fish one contest, I'm sure. But he's like the biggest klutz on the planet. So like there's these amazing YouTube Bill Dance bloopers that's just him fucking up and falling in the water.
Oh my god!
And it's so
I'm gonna
funny.
look that up. It's so fun.
Just look at Bill Dance bloopers, and that'll pull it up. He's this man. He always has a brand new Vols hat, Tennessee Vols hat on that is going in the mud. Like it gets crisp. I think the University of Tennessee just has like a box of just unlimited Vols hats for this man.
It's a monthly subscription.
It has to be because he fucking ruins them every time. He's just like, he'll fall in the water. He's like, oh, damn it. That's my new Vols hat. But he falls in the water in like the stupidest ways. There's one where he's loading things onto a boat and he's like, all right. And it's a fishing show, right? So he's talking to the camera and he got the full crew there and he's like, all right, we're about to head out for a great day on the water. We've got everything we need. We've got our cooler, and he puts the cooler in the water. He's like, we got our fishing poles. And he puts the fishing poles in the boat, and we got our battery. And somehow the weight differential of the battery makes him lose his balance, and he just falls in the water with the battery. And he's just like, oh, damn it. Oh, there's a really good one where he casts his line and he gets the line stuck in a tree above him, which happens to the best of us.
Yeah, sure.
and he's pulling the line to try to get out of the tree, and a goddamn snake just falls on his head. And he's like, oh no! Like
What an actual nightmare.
It couldn't happen to anyone else. Like there's videos of him just standing on the banks fishing. The entire bank will collapse out from under him. It'll just fall in the water. Like he just he's
like his crew is setting him up.
kind of yeah. Well, there's one where they have like a jib cam like on a crane, and it just straight up knocks a guy on his crew into the water with a really expensive camera.
Like the original Jackass.
It kind of is, yeah. Yeah, they're just like he's just trying to fish, but he somehow can't. And there's about 4 or 5 bloopers compilations that are hilarious.
Wow.
He has all of his fishing poles in the back of a truck, and he's like, all right, we got everything we need. Here we go. And he closes the tailgate, and it breaks all 10 poles because they're in the gate. They're in the tailgate. He didn't stick them off to the side. So he just snaps $1,000 worth of fishing equipment in one fell swoop. And they've got that guy in the entrance of the Bass Pro Shop. And I was like, God bless this place. Bill Dance right there in the entrance. I've never seen him do well at fishing. I've only ever watched his bloopers, but they're fantastic.
Yeah, you've seen the important stuff.
I've seen the important stuff. I'm sure the fishing part's fine,
Is he like the Bob Ross of fishing? Like, is he someone people find comforting?
I think so. Yeah. He seems very comforting. The bloopers are just like, because he's not obnoxious. He's not very loud, or he's just like a pretty chill television host kind of style, like most fishing shows. Part of fishing is you have to be somewhat quiet, so there's not a lot of screamy fishermen. But
unless they're like on a speedboat in the sea doing some weird deep sea.
Yeah, I guess if a situation calls for it. But yeah, no, everything I've ever seen of him is just like, we've got all of our stuff for a great day on the water, and first and then he'll just like take the fishing poles, and it goes up into the ceiling fan, and the fan snaps the pole. He's like, oh, God damn it. And at one point, my favorite is he's with his granddaughter. They're digging for worms, and he straight up hits the water line for the sprinkler.
Oh my God.
And the water just shoots up and starts soaking him and the kid. And he goes, oh no, your grandma's gonna kill us. Like it's adorable. So yeah, Bill Dance right there at the entrance of the Memphis Bass Pro Shop Pyramid Tomb of Doom.
Wow, just getting the respect he deserves.
Yeah.
I love that.
Oh, it's a guy on the street on his phone.
Yeah. We're out on my balcony, so
yeah, there's just random.
I live across from some hospitals, so there's occasional ambulances.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Occasionally, the dog barks at us from inside my house.
Yeah, your roommate's dog was cozying up to me, and then as soon as your roommate came home, the dog was mad at me again.
He was like, "How dare you!"
I mean, we were on the couch, we were talking, I was petting the dog, everything was cool, and then as soon as the roommate came home, he's
like, "I have to protect her with my life."
Yeah. I mean, I'm cool to hang out with you, but when she's home,
well, when she's home, he has something to live for.
Yeah.
When she's not, he's like, whatever, you're fine. I'll be your friend. I don't care.
Yeah. So one of the things that obviously started doing a lot of since you moved down here is doing the stained glass work, and I got a chance to see all of your stained glass or a lot of it on display at the Waverly Boogie.
Yeah, that was pretty much all of it
last week. Yeah, well, I know you've been moving merch. If you don't follow at Mighty Monika on Instagram, you definitely should, and check out all the cool stained glass. Because when you were living in Los Angeles, I don't know. Had you done that before?
No. I took a class here.
Oh, okay.
I was always looking for classes in LA, and I couldn't, for the life of me, find any.
Okay,
but I'd been looking for a few years, and just, I mean, I go in and out of being obsessed with learning some skill,
crafts and stuff like that.
Yeah, it was like cheese making for a while. I was obsessed with.
Ooh, why weren't we doing that when you were my roommate?
I did. Well, I was when I lived in that apartment. I would take cheese making classes, but then we ate the cheese in class,
dang.
and I almost got into a fight with an old lady in my cheese making class.
Let's talk about that real quick. What happened?
I took this cheese making class. And
what cheese did it? Was it the Gorgonzola? What set her off?
It was the chèvre.
Oh, okay.
And she, we made the cheese, and part of it was they would also teach you how to season it and the different ways you could season it, and like Chev can basically be rolled in herbs, or like you could put jam, like mixed jam in it or
Yeah,
whatever. So like
it's a soft
this is like,
cheese.
yeah, it's just like a whatever kind of lightly flavored cheese.
Yeah.
So whatever. So the instructor, the way it was set up was like you don't all have your own station. So like the instructor kind of like moves throughout the class doing what she's doing and like brings you in different parts to help. And so you're either watching or helping, but you know, we're all working on like one common goal together.
Right.
So she hands the cheese and the herbs to me, and she's like, now just try it. Like you can either sprinkle it on with your fingertips, you can roll it through. And I was like, okay. So I was kind of like figuring out cheese to salt to herbs ratio.
Yeah.
And so I'm like sprinkling a little bit of the herbs in, and this old lady who was in a group of old ladies that were taking the class together, and their group was called Chicks Who Do Stuff.
They had a team name
They had a team
for
name.
cheese making.
Yeah, and it's like they do some fucking email listserv thing with each other where they're like, all right, ladies, it was my month to pick the thing we do.
Oh, God,
So this
okay.
is the thing we do.
Gotcha.
So like, because they told me some of the other stuff they did, and it was all like very boring. And I was like, uh-oh, these are my interests. My interests align with these ladies. But she was like, I was like, you know, doing the thing, and she was like, oh, come on, get into it. And literally ripped the herbs out of my hand and dumped them out on top of the cheese and then rolled it and went there. And I was like, I'm
Well,
gonna kill you. Don't embarrass me in front of my cheese teacher. But like nobody in the class liked those ladies. So
God.
because it was also I was absolutely the only like 30-something single person.
Yeah.
Like it was like couples having a date
Uh-huh.
or old women in a big group. It wasn't like, hi, I earnestly want to know how to make cheese.
Yeah. This is a skill I want. I'm not here to dabble in cheese making. I'm here for the long haul.
But then I really flexed on the whole class because to make mozzarella, you have to basically put your fingers in boiling water to like you basically like drop it in, and then to get it to be the ball that it is, you have to like move it in the water.
Yeah,
you can't do it outside of the water or it immediately falls apart.
Oh man, okay.
And so it's like, you know, hot, and it's like, but it's not like, it's fine. It's fine to put your fingers in for a second.
Yeah.
And I was the only one that was man enough.
Oh man.
And so everyone was like, wow, your fingers are tough. I was like, that's true. But I was an esthetician for so long. I had my fingers in hot water all day.
Right.
And they're very soft because of it.
Yeah. So the cheese making didn't work out, and then you moved to New Orleans, and where was it, like a community center class or?
So
or
I
stained glass?
happened upon this place that was called the New Orleans Glasswork and Printmaking Studio, I think is what it was called. It's on Magazine Street. It's like it's got a really beautiful sign, which is like kind of part of why I noticed it.
Yeah.
I was like renting an office near that place. And so I was like, I passed it sometimes. I had to park near there, and I was like, oh, what are you? So I looked it up and saw they had like, I thought it was going to be glass blowing because that's all the stuff that was in the window.
Right.
But I was like, what is this place? And I kind of was just curious. You know, it's like I had just gotten here and I was like, I don't know what to do to like sink my teeth into being a member of the community.
Yeah.
So at the time I did that, I was really throwing everything at the wall. I was like volunteering at the radio station here. I was volunteering at the Southern Food and Beverage Museum, which I love.
I didn't know
I feel
that
like your eyes
existed.
just lit up.
Yeah, no, I need to go to this. I
They were really cool. It's like a cool like food nonprofit too in the area. And
Okay.
But so like I was volunteering and doing stuff. I would mostly just like, they don't know. I mean, no nonprofit. I worked in nonprofit for so long. I know none of them ever know what to do with a volunteer.
Yeah, sure.
So like they had me volunteer at these parties. They would like throw these events.
Yeah.
And chefs from all over the place want to come and like do stuff there, and like you know, fancy mixology bartenders. So I worked at an event that was the weekend of Tales of the Cocktail. which is like a huge event in New Orleans.
It's one of their 1,000 festivals.
But it's in like August.
Wow.
So it's cruel.
Oh God, yeah. Oh Jesus.
But it's an international destination festival.
Yeah.
For people in the bar industry.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I gotcha.
And so it's like bartenders from all over the world descend on New Orleans, and it's like
that could go either way.
it's a particularly fucking crazy packed weekend.
Yeah.
Like every bartender, it's like bartenders that really care about the industry.
Right.
So they're in every fancy restaurant and they're in every bar. They're all over the place. But the kickoff event is like this little event at the Southern Food and Beverage Museum where like they open up the museum at night. They have like different bar and food stations, and they were like, I would show up and they were like, here's an apron. Just like throw away trash when you see it.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, is that it? And they were like, yeah. And you can like drink and eat and stuff. Just make sure you're not drunk when the night's over so you can help us clean. And I was like, man. And then when I would be working, they would like, people would see that I was a volunteer.
Yeah.
And they would come up to me. I had so many like old gay Southern dudes come up to me and be like, where is your drink? And I was like, I'm working. And they're like, so? And I was just like, man, the city is intense.
Why aren't you drunk yet?
Yeah. But so this was just like,
sun's about to go down.
this was just like the glasswork studio. Like I didn't know how much I was going to get out of it.
Right.
Or like, it's just hard to tell. And then I took the intro to stained glass class, and it was like a 6-week course. And I learned the basics. They absolutely were like not trying to teach me a lot of like actual science or theory of like how it should work.
Oh, okay.
Because like I had real questions like the logic of why you would do certain things.
Yeah.
And she was just like, so to cut the glass, you score it with this little, it's like a pistol gripped, like it's like a little pistol grip that has like oil in it.
Uh-huh.
And then like a tiny circular blade.
Yeah.
That you like, the oil comes through a little reservoir and like keeps the blade oiled as you cut the glass.
Okay. And it's like,
But you're
like
just
a pizza
making-
roller almost.
Yeah, but it's
Yeah.
teeny tiny, and you're just
Right.
making a score in it, and then you have to either snap it with your hands or take like specific glass pliers and
Yeah.
like break it. But I was like, I had so many questions about like even the logic of how you were doing that, and she's like, I don't know, this is just how you do it, and I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
okay.
Oh.
So it's been a lot of teaching myself through trial and error and occasional YouTube
Yeah, sure.
stuff. And like I joined a bunch of Facebook groups. So if I really have that, you know, it tends to be it tends to be an art form that old ladies like to do.
Uh-huh.
So a lot of helpful old ladies love stained glass and they love Facebook. So so I can really go on Facebook and
Good
get a lot
resource.
of reliable information because they love to write a long, reliable piece of information.
Yeah.
And they love to be the one that told you that piece of information.
Right.
They also don't like I made some snakes that I love, but they're not quite working.
Uh-huh.
And I had to post in there I was like, hey, I'm having this problem with the snakes that I'm making, which is basically like the soldering like falls off on one part and then it makes the whole thing fall apart. So there's like too much weight and I can't figure out how to distribute the weight better.
Yeah.
But these old ladies were like, why are you making something so masculine? And I was like, can you guys focus on...
You just tell me.
They're like, you're making something... Because they want me to make flowers.
It's like, I'm going to make guns and lightning bolts if you don't shut the fuck up and help me.
I was like, well, I won't show you guys the knife I made.
Yeah,
out of
I was going
glass.
to say, you had a cool knife hanging up on your display there at the boogie.
Yeah, but so it's been interesting, and you know,
and eggplant emoji too,
which was a suggestion from our old pal Rosalie.
Oh, perfect. Yeah.
And when she suggested, she texted me and she was like, I have a suggestion, but it's kind of horny.
Go on.
And I was like,
horny stained glass. I love it.
okay. And then she just sent me an eggplant emoji.
Yeah.
And I was like, I was really hesitant about it.
Yeah.
Because I was like, that is fun. But like when I sell on Etsy, it's like, you know, I was selling it on Etsy for like $75,
Sure.
which makes sense for the 5-day process of
labor
making one
and the-
piece.
yeah.
How much? But I was like, this is a fun idea, and the color is pretty, and it's pretty. But
Yeah.
would you pay $75 for like a goof?
Right.
And she's like, I don't know. And I was like, I think I'll make one.
Yeah.
And I so far haven't been able to move it. So
Okay, well, if you're listening to this
And you
you're
want
horny
an
for stained glass, buy the eggplant emoji.
maybe I'll do a, I don't know. I can't decide what I would do, but maybe I'll do a discount code.
Yeah.
I'll do a discount code for my stained glass on Etsy and its goods.
Hey, there we go.
And you'll find out what that discount means when I
Okay.
enter it.
Yeah, we'll figure. Yeah, get some stained glass.
Yeah.
It's good stuff. I personal testimony time. I got a stained glass bolo tie in the shape of the state of Alabama that I'm going to wear forever and ever, and you can get those as well.
Yeah, I have so many of those. You can just DM me directly on Instagram for those.
I know we got a lot of Auburn fans who are
Yeah.
listening. Football season starts in what is it? April 20th. So you got April, May, June, July. Oh yeah, so you got 6 months.
It was funny, I thought
it's literally
about-
as far away from football season as you can possibly get, but it's never too early to get your accessories. And I know, fucking people like to dress up and they wear those dumbass
Yeah.
orange and blue ties. You wear your bright orange pants, your button up Oxford, and then get you a damn stained glass bolo tie in the shape of the state of Alabama with Auburn colors. Look like a champion.
Yeah, it's also very funny. I don't really have any sports allegiances. I just thought that people would like those at
Yeah.
the place I was selling them,
Sure.
and I have a lot left. They did like them a lot. I have
Yeah.
a lot left, but I got so many messages from friends who were like mad at me for it, and I was like, "You have to grow up."
Wait, like
They were mad at me for the Auburn colors.
because they wanted Bama colors? Or?
Yes.
Oh.
Or whatever. I mean, one of my roommates is like an LSU person.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, are these friends just Joe Raines and Wes Van Horn? No. Who would be mad about that?
No, because I don't think Joe Raines and Wes Van Horn know me well enough to tell me they're mad at me.
Oh, sure. Okay.
They would be polite. It was like other people that I know that are just like, oh, I mean, I get it, but I can't. I had someone say they couldn't respect me doing that, and I was like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Do you not I was like, let me ask you, do you buy Bama colored stuff from companies ever? And they were like, yeah. And I was like, those companies produce everything.
Yeah.
It's one company that makes all of the shit
Right.
for all the
Right.
It's not like they have a team alliance themselves.
Oh my God. Yeah.
People are so funny about it. I do want to make more state shapes, so people are welcome to tweet at me about what they think I should make.
Somebody messaged me on Instagram, was like, where can I get one of those in the shape of Tennessee? I was like, at Mighty Monica.
Yeah, I'll make any custom piece. I like making them. I just sometimes don't know how to guess what people are going to want.
Right. There was a really weird thing that I saw. Oh my God, now I can't find it. That about or whenever Force Awakens came out, a lot of those like companies that you were talking about that make
Yeah.
like sports stuff
Yeah.
started doing these weird college team specific Star Wars things where it'd be like,
Weird.
Darth Vader's an Auburn Tiger or like weird shit. Where you're
What
just
a
like,
weird cross section.
what the fuck who is this for?
Who's asking for this?
Right. Like I like Star Wars and college football, and I would never in a million years buy a weird Aubie Yoda thing. Like it was really weird.
It's so embarrassing.
I swear I took a picture of one of them and I can't find it at the moment, but I'll put it on our Twitter at the Goods Pod and just so you guys can see what the hell I'm talking about.
That's
and if you
so funny.
if you saw any of this weird Star Wars shit about 2016 or 15-16 that season, let us know.
That's really silly.
Yeah. What are we sitting at? Oh yeah, perfect.
A perfect episode.
Yeah, I think we did it.
Two truly the most relaxed people. We're like on these like lean back chairs.
So yeah, very.
This has to be a very low energy pod.
Very lean back chairs. Nice, cool.
Yeah, it's a cool
soft
spring
Louisiana
night.
breeze coming down the road. It's a nice spring night. About to go do some stand up at the Seahorse Saloon. But yeah, so anyway, check out all of Monika's stuff. Monika, where can people find you on the internet?
Yeah, I'm Mighty Monika. It's Monika with a K on Twitter and Instagram and Etsy.
Yes, and Monica's also got a sister podcast to this one called What Did You Learn? I already forgot. What was the other one that we're about to do?
I can't remember the name of it, but it's the Flat Earther documentary.
Oh, fuck yes. I forgot. Okay, yeah.
Have you watched it yet?
Yeah, I watched it the night it dropped.
I think I did too.
Yeah. Oh, I was all
I'm gonna watch
about
it again so that we can get real fresh. I feel like Luke is gonna be so spicy about it.
Luke is gonna be real mad. Yeah, if you haven't listened, the podcast is called What Did You Learn? And Monika, Luke, and I discuss a documentary. The last one we did, one of my favorite episodes. I've
re-listened to it because I think it was an interesting conversation we had.
Yeah,
where I was a true killjoy every second of it.
The Theranos one was good. I had a riff in that episode that I got to figure out how to make into a thing, which was where I just screamed, Anderson Cooper's a fucking Vanderbilt, and I wouldn't trust the motherfucker to build a railroad. So there's a little tease for What Did You Learn? Go figure out the context of that quote. But definitely follow Monika on all forms of social media and all that good stuff. Buy some stained glass.
I'm doing an Instagram video.
Hello. If you're listening to this on the day it comes out, come see me in Birmingham, Alabama on Friday. I'm at the Urban Standard at Fresh Ground Comics, which is a really, really fun show. If you live in Birmingham and you've never done Fresh Ground Comics or never been to Fresh Ground Comics, check that out. That is literally the first road show I ever got booked on in 2011, like
that's crazy.
January 2011, like right when I started comedy. I went and did Fresh Ground Comics. That show is still going, and this is the first time I performed there since Joe Rain's going away party in 2013.
Oh my god!
So that's a fun that's a real fun show if you live in Birmingham. The next night I'm with DJ Lewis. We're going to be at Mind Your P's and Q's in Knoxville, Tennessee, and on April 29th I'm at the Coffee Underground in Greenville, South Carolina. And I got more dates coming up in Richmond, Pennsylvania, Massachusetts, New York City. I'm coming your way, baby. Find me at Rivers Langley.
Extremely coming your way.
I'm extremely coming your way. And if I'm not doing it on this run, I think I'm going to do it on the next run. So we'll hopefully have some stuff in the Midwest booked in the fall. But anyway, so come see me on the road. You can find us on Facebook, facebook.com/thegoodspod. We're on Twitter @thegoodspod. Every episode ever, youtube.com/thegoodspod. Buy a shirt. ProWrestlingTees.com/thegoodspod. Big shout out to our friend Richard Eden up there in the North Pole doing the hard work at thegoodspod.com and the Brain Freeze Podcast Network. Pat, what should the folks do when they get to iTunes?
Rate, review, subscribe. Shows the attitude of gratitude.
And if you don't have the attitude of gratitude, fuck you. We'll see you next week.
Hey, Pat.
Hey, Pat. Where'd you come from? The Goods from the Woods was mixed, edited, and distributed by me, Rivers Langley. You can find the show on Twitter @TheGoodsPod. Our theme song was composed by DJ Smiles. Check him out on Twitter @DJ Smiles.
This was a Brain Freeze podcast.